Gen Z revolution has overthrown the KP Oli government. But what next? After the arson, the burning and the killing, what's next for Nepal? That's going to be our top focus here on the broadcast. We'll also talk about what's happening in France. There also a lot of tensions on the streets of France. We'll get you those details as well. But let's very quickly start with this big breaking news which is coming in at this moment. What next for Nepal? And the answer could be, have they found the next leader as far as Nepal is concerned? It seems that sources are indicating that the Gen Z movement has picked the former Chief Justice, the first woman Chief Justice of Nepal, as their interim pick, as the interim head of the caretaker government, which will then put in place the processes that are going to in fact take this movement forward. And hopefully, as Nepal and the youth of Nepal has been saying, that they would want a completely monumental change as far as this entire Gen Z reportage is concerned. Or so the woman that you are seeing on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, is the pick, as Sushila Karki is the former Chief Justice of Nepal, seems to be the interim pick as far as the Gen Z movement is concerned. All right, let me very quickly, I'll tell you all about who she is. And the former Chief Justice Sushila Karki could possibly be the Nepal's interim head of the caretaker government. My colleague Aditya is joining us at this moment, who has been covering this entire protest for the last very volatile almost 48 hours now. Aditya, Gen Z picking somebody who is over the age of 70. She has been a very vocal voice, a big supporter of this entire revolution which has been brought in by the young people in Nepal. What is so special about her? Why is she likely to be the head of the interim government?
See, what I can confirm right now, Ankit, is that there was a marathon meeting for 5 long hours, which has just concluded. There are 3 different groups of Gen Zs which were leading this protest in Kathmandu and different other districts of Nepal over the last 48 to 72 hours. What they are telling me is that different names were discussed. All these names were non-political in nature, and now there will be negotiations and talks with the Nepal army. And for that negotiations and talks, they have chosen Sushila Karki, who is the former Chief Justice of the Nepal Supreme Court, as the representative of the youth to hold that dialogue and negotiations. Till now, it's not clear whether Sushila Karki will head that interim government or not, but for the negotiations and talks to take place, the one person who will be representing the youth and the students of Nepal who led this protest will be Sushila Karki, the former Chief Justice of the Nepal Supreme Court. What I can tell you is that she has had a very honest image. She is the first and the only head and the chief of the Supreme Court of Nepal, the Chief Justice. Apart from that, she has served between 2016 and 2017. Since then, she's been supporting, the youth, but also against corruption, the political corruption that has completely ruined the politics of Nepal over the last few years. There has been a campaign that's been underway against the political class here for many, many days and months. But over the last 3 days, the violent protest took a different turn when KP Sharma Oli was forced to resign, when the Nepal Parliament, the Supreme Court and several other structures of the foundation of the government here in Nepal were completely destroyed and destructed. Just to give you a glimpse, where I'm standing right now is in fact the Nepal Police Traffic Headquarters, and you can see right behind me the kind of visual that is there, the complete mayhem, complete destruction that has taken place. There are hundreds of motorbikes and vehicles of the Nepal police that have been parked here, and they are completely gutted and destroyed in the destruction and devastation that happened yesterday as a result of the violent protest led by youth. But now the big breaking news that Sushila Karki, the former Chief Justice of the Nepal Supreme Court, Ankit, will be holding the charge as a representative of the youth to take the dialogue forward, and perhaps tomorrow will be meeting the Nepal Army Chief to hold dialogue to discuss who all will be the members of the interim government and how will the restoration of peace and stability now take place in Nepal.
Aditya, can I request you to stay on with me? There is a lot to discuss as far as Nepal is concerned, but very briefly, ladies and gentlemen, and let me very quickly tell you who is Sushila Karki. Aditya was giving you your sense of who she is, whether she heads the interim government or not, but she's going to play an important role in the negotiations from here on. So whatever shape and place Nepal going forward takes, especially in the way Nepal is going to be ruled, she is going to play an important role. The first female Chief Justice of Nepal, she was appointed on July 1st, 2016, has an image of absolute zero tolerance on corruption, presided over high-profile anti-corruption cases during her tenure. She also, in fact, faced impeachment attempt in 2017. The motion was withdrawn after massive public outcry and backlash from the judicial, in fact, community in Nepal. This tells you that she has an impeccable record and enjoys the support not only of the Gen Z but also of the general people in Nepal, because it was their support that ensured that the politicians against whom she was almost running a crusade on corruption were not able to oust her from her position. Aditya, yesterday was a terrible day, a very difficult day for Nepal. The army coming in and saying that, there have been a lot of people, those who have overtaken this entire protest, the movement, and we saw what happened after that. You were on the streets, difficult situation. And today, how have things been in Nepal? Because we also are now seeing citizens coming together, ensuring that there is peace and also helping each other out.
That's right, Ankit, you put it. Sushila Karki firstly will be playing a very critical role in the restoration of stability and peace, more so the political stability, because that will only come when there's an interim government, a leadership that provides the right kind of leadership and the path forward for restoration of peace and stability. You asked me over the last 48 hours that were very, very turbulent here in Nepal. Never in the history of Nepal have we seen such massive, violent protests. We did see violent protests in 2006 when there was a rebellion against King Gyanendra, but that time also we didn't see as much devastation, as much violence and as much killings taking place. So this time around, since this morning, we've seen some semblance of calm because the Nepal army has taken over. Important structures, government buildings, vital installations have been completely taken over by the Nepal army. I am standing just meters away from the Secretariat of Nepal and the Supreme Court, where I've filed reports, and army has taken over that entire building. Apart from that, the health ministry, the police headquarters and many other areas have been completely ruined and devastated. It will take not just months but perhaps years to restore all these buildings, to bring in the same character of a democratic government out here. It will take time to restore that, but what will be vital will be who will lead Nepal over the next few crucial months to actually bring in stability and peace and restoration of faith in the common masses in that particular leader. In that entire process, Sushila Karki will be playing a very significant role over the next 24 to 48 hours. She would be holding key meetings with the representatives of the protesters, but also with the Nepal Army Chief, the Chief Secretary of Nepal and other bureaucrats and diplomats here in Nepal. Will she or not meet the political leaders and political parties? Only time will tell, because the protesters have been vehemently against all political parties of Nepal, including the Communist Party and the Nepali Congress.